Boogie, drop that beat.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Talking Out Loud with Miss Talkative. Everything I say is my own opinion, alleged, and strictly entertainment purposes. Remember, I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe. Comment on the video, let me know what you think. Now, Kimmie was supposed to have been hosting the town hall meeting for everybody to give their feedback on what they thought about the expo. And I'm like, Kimmie, how are you hosting a meeting that you can't seem to be on time to take control over? Now, the cast, by the time Kimmie got there, the meeting, it was actually leading themselves, but Kimmie was supposed to have been leading. In my opinion, Kimmie should have, done more than just pick the date and time and, and supply the space. She should have been there first. She should have been first to arrive, and she should have led the meeting. But she didn't, and it's like she just picked the date, time. It was like basically she just gave the suggestion, in my opinion. But I thought that Kimmie should have led the meeting and started out with her overall experience about what she thought was good, what she thought could be better, and gave the overall experience. And she could have led with the feedback with her and Maurice's issues of how she felt that she didn't know that they had to pay $100, how Maurice thought that he should have had just as big a space as Stormy had, and whatever their issues were, they should have led with that. This way, when the conversations got on their way, there's not a whole much back and forth. Kimmie should have, controlled that part. She should have been able to control that part. I know you can't have control over what people say, but she could have, had some rules laid out from the beginning, where it's not just everybody just speaking at once and, saying things under their breath and, in their corners, saying stuff, up under the table, whatever, kicking feet and stuff like that. And I know they weren't, but that's what it gave. Like little high school, when somebody's up there giving their speech and, kids are kicking each other under the table, like, listen at this, and, saying their little stuff to each other, tapping their friends on the shoulder. That's the type of meeting that this turned out to be to me. And had Kimmie take a control and did what she was supposed to be doing, by being the host like she said she was, then maybe it would have cut down a lot of the confusion going back and forth. And I feel as though she should have, like I say, started with her own overall experience, and then she could have let TISHA Marceau respond, and then she could have taken one at a time to let people go down the list and say one positive thing that they thought about the expo first, and then come back with whatever they thought could have been better, that they thought was, they needed more of. And I know everybody had a lot of negative feedback to give, which, it probably was a shit show. We only got a glimpse of it. But at the same time, when Stormy was asked to participate, she didn't think it was a shit show. She was, hopped on board with both feet, didn't ask any questions. And I get it. You didn't want to give up the $100, and you didn't like the way that you were asked about the $100. And granted, she had every right, because yes, anybody would have went belligerent. They would have went off on him. You asking me for $100? Why? You never said anything about $100. So I give that to her. But at the same time, Stormy, what okay, what did you think positive about it? What I mean, this was Kimmie's moment to show herself and to help out if she really wanted to help out her friend, her sister-in-law, whatever. She wanted to help out Tisha the Scotts. This was her time to help her. All the other times where she jumping in and trying to put the S on her chest to save Tisha, and windmilling for Tisha, acting like she know the answer, and can't let Tisha speak for herself. Those aren't the times. This is the time where she could have actually stood up and made a difference, and she did. She failed miserably. She just sat back, and then at the end, and she want to say, well, this is not what I intended. Well, it's probably not what anybody intended. You said that you were going to host it for everybody to give their feedback, and this is exactly what they did, except for you didn't host it. You just sat there. You didn't say, okay, well, you're going to go first, and we're gonna hear one thing, and let the Scots give them time to respond. Or did you even have a conversation with Tisha to see, because Tisha act like she was actually out of the whole conversation up until Mel actually said her feedback. Why? I mean, Tisha's sitting there on her phone, and Marceau, he's being his little bullheaded self. And Kimmie, you didn't put a stop to none of that. I really expected more, and it should have been conducted a lot better. It wasn't orchestrated correctly. People, just jumping in and speaking, and nobody. It was no control. Where was your crowd control, Kimmie? If you're going to be the host, then be the host. You should have had a conversation, and you should, like I said, you should have led first. First of all, you should have been on time, and you weren't. And I really don't like the fact that Kimmie left out the Fletchers from the expo, because just because they weren't at the expo does not mean that they didn't have anything to give regarding feedback. I feel like Kimmie was like sent to check NELL on behalf of Tisha, and I feel as though that NELL should have checked Kimmie. Kimmie, you talking about it was your event. I can't tell. That doggone event led itself. You didn't, I mean, you were scared to say your piece. Your husband, he was like, well, asking Stormy, well, why you call him a B? So when you say it was your meeting, prove it. You should have stood up like it was your meeting. But like I said, Kimmie, you should have allowed NELL to come speak her piece, so everybody could have got whatever they had to say off their chest at one time in one place, instead of Bones being carried back, or you trying to handle NELL for Tisha. I really didn't like that, and I wish NELL had just went off on Kimmie and told her it doesn't matter if it was your meeting, but it was their expo. So I don't need you trying to tell me where I can and cannot come to. And if Kimmie was a real, she did that little thing like she did to Kiowa, when she say something and then want to raise her eyebrow like, I dare you to say something. I was like, oh no, NELL, and I know she's new to the show. NELL, come on, I need you to give it to him, because Kimmie was way out of line, and she just, brought you in for a little private meeting and said, oh, I don't want you to hear the rumors. Well, if you don't want me to hear the rumors, then you should have invited me to the doggone feedback meeting. Because regardless of what me and you talk about, I'm still going to hear the rumors. I'm still going to, I'm still going to hear the exchange and, the overall experience that people got from the feedback meeting. So you're really not doing anything by telling me I can't come to the feedback meeting, but then you want to have a meeting with me to tell me, oh, I didn't invite you because I didn't think that your services were needed. How do you know what my services, how did you know what my services were or weren't? I just feel like Kimmie needs to stop trying to take up for Kimmie and deal with her own matters. This was not her matter. And if she was hosting a meeting, then invite everybody. Just control it. You can't steer a meeting, you can't control a meeting, you can't host a meeting. And so now some people can't come because of what you think. You didn't give the expo. You stated it was TISHA and Marceau. So next time, stay out of it. And if you don't want to host something, if you're not going to host it properly, then Kimmie, by all means, just step aside and let people speak their piece, because it has nothing to do with you. And that's just my opinion. I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. Let me know what you think.